6, 2021 governorship elections on the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, has already given the people of the state a glimpse of what his administration would look like, as he had a quiet swearing-in ceremony that involved just a few people. This decision didn't, however, thrill some residents of the state capital, as some of them expressed sadness at the arrangement, describing it as a strange one in the political history of the state. Well, joining us to discuss this and more is Vincent Onyekwelu. He's a corporate governance expert, and Achike Chude, who's a political analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, Nigerians.
Great. Mr. Chude, I'm going to start with you because you were there monitoring the elections that brought Governor Soludo into office. Now, before he was sworn in, he had put together a very interesting panel, transition committee, rather, that would lay the grounds for his getting into office officially. And lots of people, applauded some of those people that made up that list, the likes of the former Minister for Education, the likes of Chidi Odinkalu, so many other interesting people who made that list. And today, he gave a very, very in-depth speech, laying out all the things and the plans that he has for Anambra people. But let's start by looking at the man himself and how he intends to run this office.
Well, I think Chuma Soludo hit the limelight when he was given one of the best high-profile jobs in the country. That is the governor of the central bank by the Obasanjo administration. And one thing he did was that he, of course, apart from the fact that he's articulate and that he seems to understand the financial terrain as a governor of the central bank, he was also a very bold and forthright person. If you remember the reforms that he did undertake, how he was able to also recapitalize the banking sector, because we felt that going forward, the kind of banking that needed to be done in a country the size of Nigeria, that you needed banks that are, very well capitalized to undertake the job of ensuring the kind of investment that will lead Nigeria to progress. And so he was not afraid to step on toes, and he did step on toes, in the course of his experience or performance as the central bank, governor. And of course, this is not the first time he will be running for governor of Anambra State. This is, I think, the third time, and as they will say, third time lucky. Obviously, he had the luck of the former governor believing in him. Like somebody said recently that Obiano carefully chose somebody that will be better than him. And of course, we do know that the mark of leadership is not just the mark that you have left in power when you were, when you were maybe in government, perhaps as a leader or president. But the successor that comes after you is also indicative of the kind of person you are. So there is that hope, there is that belief that Soludo would live up to the billing, that he will live up to the hopes and expectations of the people of Anambra State. Because it is very clear, ultimately, at the end of the day, that a lot of people are looking closely at his leadership in Anambra State, and that they are hoping, they've invested so much hope in Soludo. You can see how the people of Anambra State came out, though we had low number during the election itself, but at least the fact that he was able to win in the manner that he did showed truly that those who voted for him believed in him and believed that there was going to be a change for the better in Anambra State. So he's a man that is principled, that has shown it to a very large extent. He's also a man that is very bold, that is willing to take the bull by the horn. Of course, there are those who have accused him of some level of arrogance. I hope that he should know that, of course, he's not a politician. This is the very first time he will take the biggest stage of his life in politics. And so we hope that he will be in a position to do the necessary compromise that is needed for him to be successful as a governor, but not compromise that is fundamental, that would prevent him from achieving some of his objectives as a governor of Anambra State.
Vincent, let me come to you. You're a good governance advocate, and you have lived in Anambra. And he also said something about leaving Anambra people in good hands. Now, something that's worthy of note is that Governor Willie Obiano was not a man that was open to the media. He hardly was ever in front of a TV or a camera, talking. He always had somebody speak for him, even though he was a good orator. But let's look at his legacies in Anambra State. Who better to talk about it other than you, who's lived there for a bit?
Honestly, Governor Willie Obiano, the immediate past governor of Anambra State, actually did excellently well. Being somebody who is from Anambra State, who still lives in Anambra State, even though I live in Abuja also, Governor Obiano left some legacy projects that Anambra State will never ever forget him for. Example, the Anambra International Cargo Airport. It's been there on the pipeline for decades. The Anambra State deserves to have an international airport or an airport of a sort at all, whether it's international or local, whatever you call it. So I think that project of the Anambra Airport was a big plus to him. And forever and ever, Ndi Anambra will never forget him. Yes, you get critics that criticize him about the quality of work, that the airport is still not complete. The fact is that people flying safely from that airport, people are arriving landing safely from that to that airport, and it's well acknowledged to be running smoothly so far. Yes, I've used that airport a couple of times. I know there is still finishing projects like the escalators are yet to be done, but he did excellent with that airport. Big plus to him. With the International Conference Center also, a wonderful legacy project, and you must respect the man for that. He's done other projects, even though some will say that before he left office, that many of the local roads in Anambra State were in a very appalling position. And I think those critics, I'll respect them for that, because most of the roads in Anambra State are in a very poor position. And also some critics will talk about the issue of touting in Anambra State, because there's a lot of gangsters. Now, if I must give him where 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest, I'll happily give Governor Obiano a very good 7. He's run a good race, and I respect him for that. Over to Governor Soludo now.
Let's talk about young people in Anambra State. I mean, I remember the last time I was talking to one of the chieftains of Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide, and he kept insisting that Anambra has the highest number of billionaires. And I said, how has this translated in helping young people? Because the truth is, these people are the future of Anambra State. If these young people are not one way or the other co-opted into whether it be entrepreneurship or whatever, you know what they say about idle hands. But what policies have Governor Willie Obiano put in place that would one way or the other grow the young people in Anambra?
People of Anambra State, both male and female, he kind of empowered them, give them some level of job experience to serve in the corporate sector. Many of them never had, apart from university education, they never had a proper job employment that exposed them to the corporate politics of an establishment. So he gave them so much exposure. Thousands of them had an experience under him for 8 years. Some of them became financially balanced. So we should stop boasting about having the highest number of billionaires or whatever. We should be more humble. And then issue of policies. I think being in governance and being a leader are two different things, because the people that surround Governor Obiano are unique to his achievements, to his challenges, to his failures. The people that will surround Governor Soludo will also be unique to his victories and to his losses. So I think it's for Governor Soludo to actually look deep and get the right hands that will surround him. If he doesn't have the right people to surround him, they will mess him up, because these guys are politicians. Those that will surround him are people that understand the game. He is a Democrat. People that has crime-free records, not people that have made money from fictitious motives or fictitious ways. So we can be able to record his victories. But right now, the Anambra are expecting so much from him, and trust me, it's going to be a tough battle for him because of the high level of expectations from the Anambra.
Let me come back to you, Mr. Vincent just said something about him.
To a very large extent, Nigerians look in economics. He is somebody that has also bagged a lot of international awards from international institutions because of what, of his achievements as governor of CBN. And so there's a lot at stake in the Soludo, Soludo as a governor of Anambra State. And what is critical is that a lot more people, if Soludo fails, then it will be difficult for Nigerians to begin to make a case for people with the kind of pedigree that Soludo has. That is why the expectations are exceedingly, very high. So we hope that he does succeed. Of course, he understands, economic dynamics. He understands the importance of the financial market, the financial system. He understands the importance of production, and that is why, he set up a committee to work out a blueprint for how the governance of Anambra State would be in the next 4 years. And of course, the kind of people he put into that committee. Obieze Ekwesili, former head of the Bureau for Public Enterprises, and so many other people that are quite knowledgeable, a lot of people with great pedigree and credibility in the country, people involved in the economic and the financial sector. So it is hoped that, and then again, even the low-key inauguration that he did today is in tandem, is in line with what he said about what is, the kind of governance that he will bring to Anambra State. Of course, he talked about the akwete. In one of the occasions, he wore akwete. And akwete is this fabric that is made in, one of the communities or the towns in Anambra State. He said he was going to give it a global attention, and so production, economic dynamics are important because the only way he can pull the people of Anambra State, it is the people of Anambra State that tend to dominate even beyond, Anambra State. So they are entrepreneurs and they know what it means to be involved in trade. And then again, one of the things he said, the signpost of what he wants to do is the fact that he said that all the state, official vehicles will be exclusively, produced by Innocent Motors. And that is very good because what that means is that he's going to encourage employment, and then that would also lead to a boost at Innocent, and of course increase their capacity for as long as he continues to have patronage at that level. So he is we have had since 1999 to the other, and Nigeria sorely needs his energy and time to ensure that that the level of violence in Anambra State is reduced minimally. And then he did well by paying honor to the 3 policemen or so that lost their lives sometime last year in his company when his convoy was attacked. And I think that was fantastic for him because he showed somebody who is not oblivious of what is going on around him. So we